Hey, true believers, Englentine here with what I'm going to assume is a long review video, because this is basically the books from the 16th and the 23rd. Like, I did them, I just never released, and I figured, you know what, finish it up, at least get some of each. I got 12 DC, 12 Marvel, and 12 independent comic books, so yeah, there's 36 reviews here. They're about 40 seconds long, some are a little bit over, and I figured since I am now making sure that there's an even amount of books on each one, I'm not going to do the average score thing. I'm not going to score it the way I used to. Instead, I'm going to do that thing where it's like if you have 10 books, number 1 equals 10 points, and, you know, number 10 equals 1, so forth and so on. That way, I think it would average it out a little better. So, like, if you have a really bad one, you know, you get the drift. You get the drift. But you tell me what you prefer. Like, if 1 star equals 1.2 stars equal. If you prefer that way, let me know in the comments below. Once again, this is 2 weeks worth of books put in. I did miss a couple, and I might add them to this week's books. Yeah, I'm going to do another one of these. I'm trying to catch up on all my reading, and so stuff like Infinity Countdown, Dark Hawk, or Wonder Woman, that kind of thing is still left over. Anywho, also, I'm just trying to think what else I need to have said here while the comic book covers are going. Oh yeah, and the comic book covers, for those who aren't used to this video, are of the books that you are going to get reviews of. And as you can see, there's quite a few. And I really do try to give an honest review, no matter what the politics are, no matter what the writer or artist is. If it's on the paper and it's good, it's going to get a good review. If it's on the paper and it's bad, it's going to get a bad review no matter what. With that said, let's get this party started. The 1-star books are the one I find to be horrible and just irredeemable. Stay away from them if you can. Bubba Hotep #1 is a true miss. I mean, this book is bad, and I think it's mainly because they missed what the character was. I love the movie, by the way, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is definitely a unique and individual experience. They, however, mistook the fact that Elvis used profanity to mean that Elvis was vulgar, and there is a difference in character. It's just an ugly story about ugly characters made to look ugly. There's just nothing good about it. Holy crap, Delta 13 #1. Okay, here's the thing. The art is not good enough for you to not care this much about the characters. The color is blue. That's it. The color is blue. The pen is blue. Seriously, there's no color in this book. It's all blue. It's just so bad. It's so bad. There's no character. You don't give a what happens because you don't know anybody. It's just figures with dialogue. Oh my god, this book sucks. Thor at the Gates of Valhalla is a cash grab that kind of feels like a cash grab. Seriously, it really is. It's one last-ditch effort to show Lady Jane. I think it's all gearing up to put her back into the Thor outfit, in all honesty. Not that it's mentioned here. I just, you know, they're not letting go. Josie and the Pussycats here are the main characters. They're not interesting at all. As a matter of fact, nothing much interesting here happens. The art is horrible. The story is god-awful bad. There's no way in hell I can recommend this to be made, much less to be read. The 2-star books are merely bad. There might actually even be a saving grace to them, but I still can't recommend them. Black AF, Widows and Orphans #1 is one of the most shallow books I've ever read. Okay, and take away the politics of the writer and everything. What we got here is a book that starts off with a 10-page action scene, and the next 3 pages is the assassin and someone else walking through a whole bunch of clubs saying, well, it's easy to do if you hide out in the open. There's really no story to this at all. And it just leaves you with a feeling of, why am I reading this? So if they're not going to be invested in the characters, then why should I? Black Panther #1 by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So he's rebooting. They're in space. This book wastes 15 15 freaking pages. I don't know if it's that many. I think it's 15. I know it's a lot of pages on an action scene in the beginning instead of world building. I think they make a mistake on this. We should have been given some more information. It ends up being a boring action scene because you don't know really what's going on. Not great things here. There's nothing to really grab on and say, woohoo, I gotta read this. Seriously. And isn't going into space like the sign of desperation, like Hellraiser in space, Leprechaun in space, now Black Panther in space? At least he's not fighting in Wakanda, because that would be crazy. Cable, number 157. So right away, I have to say that the art has tanked since John Malin left. I mean, I would praise this book left, right, and center, and that part of it just went downhill. The story, it's not exciting. I mean, it's not bad. You're not going to read it and go, holy crap, this is the worst thing since Iceman or America Chavez. But it's just dull, and it deals with, of course, the whole time travel, what was that, paradox thing, where they're dealing with a whole bunch of cables and Nate and the troubles that he's bringing in. I wish I could say more about this book. I wanted to continue to like Cable, but unfortunately it's going downhill fast, and I hear it's being canceled now. The 3-star books, they're the average ones, the ones that either didn't register with me or I liked them but just not enough to recommend them. Executive Assistant Iris. Okay, this is it's the first issue. It says number 1 right there on the cover. I gotta say, this is a mixed bag, because in some areas it's a lot of fun. It's got some good action scenes. It's definitely meant to be taken as seriously as you should an action comic book starring a ninja woman. It's entertaining, but it's not exactly deep, although, oh my goodness. However, they do take time out to world build. Actually, most of this book is world building as you're meeting the company that she's going to work for as an executive assistant, which means bodyguard. Once again, I don't know how I feel about this book. I liked some parts. I just thought some parts were a little bit, I don't know, just dull. X-Men Wedding Special. Well, that sucked. There's no wedding in the wedding special. Okay, so it's basically the bachelor parties and bachelorette parties, and just a little recap of Kitty Pryde and Colossus's relationship. I didn't know Kurt was this character anymore. The haha, let's fight and get into debauchery type. I'm old school X-Men, so this was kind of new to me. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. Exo Man of War number 15. So Exo Man of War is usually really a strong book, and this one isn't bad. It's a past. It looks at his past, and it's completely based on that. I'm not a big fan of these issues, to tell you the truth. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. This is about an escaped slave who goes and he finds Eric, and he gets him to go and try to rescue a brother. It's okay. Like I said, it's a good series overall, but these issues just kind of, I don't know, they kind of just leave me flat. The new challengers, number 1, and actually there's no the. Anywho, this is written for the trade. And usually I say that and it's a negative, but here it's kind of a positive, because it really does take time to build the world and for you to learn the characters and get to know who's who. It even kills, spoiler alert, one of the characters to illustrate how dangerous the world can be. It's kind of like a Suicide Squad for ghosts. It's thoroughly entertaining, yet not quite amazing. Quicksilver No Surrender number 1. So it kind of, after I read this, it kind of amazed me that they even wanted to tell this story, and it always does seem like they're trying to flash him up. And right now, it seems like they're going with Flash time, where he's running around and the whole world is kind of frozen. The only difference is he doesn't seem to be feeling any of the effects, like, he's not getting tired because he's moving so quickly. So it is it is a little bit different. It's an interesting story. It's not an exciting one, but definitely interesting. Avengers #2. Oh my gosh, you know, I completely forgot I read this book. Seriously, when I was going over, okay, I know I read some already. Let me pick. I forgot I read this. It's mostly battle. It's mostly up close with this big creature they're fighting, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Ghost Rider and She-Hulk fight. Not a lot of story. Interesting ending with the cliffhanger, and otherwise it's boring. I mean, it's not boring so much as just average, I would have to say. McGinnis art's still good. The story is wanting a lot. Peekaboo! What are we on, #3 now? Wow. Okay, so this has become Bone Tomahawk. I don't know if you've seen that Kurt Russell movie. I really recommend it. It's a kind of a horror film, but more like a gross out survivalist picture, and that's kind of what this book is, and it's become, as we've seen people take into caves and what the monster men are doing to them. It also is B-movie-ish in the fact that some characters act stupid rather than like human beings. I enjoy this book. I just don't think I can recommend it based on that. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid. Well, okay, I guess it's like #27, but it's part of the Shattered Grid storyline. And if you haven't been checking this out, it is definitely worth looking at. I'm not even a Power Rangers fan, and I've been enjoying this. This has kind of a consolidation of power on the Power Rangers front as they realize what kind of battle they are now facing. And I particularly liked the bad guy who, you know, it's basically the White Ranger of another dimension, wondering why are all the Tommies put it on a pedestal in every universe. It's kind of interesting because, I mean, yeah, all I've ever heard of was Tommy is the best Ranger and such like that. So it's kind of funny to hear that questioned. Anyway, decent book. It's a good book. I'm not even, like I said, I'm not a Power Rangers fan, but it definitely holds up for me. So if you are, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to get this book. Detective Comics 981. I like this book if for any reason. It shows promise that the whole Batman team thing is done. It shows promise. Now, granted, I don't mind them being on their own and occasionally showing up in Detective Comics, but I've been wanting a Batman book forever and a day. And I remember Detective Comics was really good about being, well, a detective story. You know, it would be more intellectual sometimes, or at least that's, you know, back in the day, as they say. This book was good, but I'm really looking forward to what it could be. Batman Sins of the Father. In this case, we have, I think it's chapter 8. I'm sorry, my vision's off, and I'm looking at it right here. Anyway, in this one, we have a battle of wits between Bruce Wayne and, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm Deadshot. And Bruce Wayne loses. He does. And instead of getting Deadshot to admit that, hey, he's Deadshot, he ends up putting his family and friends in danger. So it's not an action book, but it's definitely feels like it is because it's a war with words, and it works very well. Superman Special #1, Escape from Dinosaur Island. So this seems, well, it is. It's actually a wrap-up. It's a wrap-up of all that's come before, the Tomasi years. And it works. I like this story. It's good. It's got some decent art. And I just appreciated going back, saving the loser from Dinosaur I can't say it now, and I just read it. Island. But it was entertaining. It's fun. It's what comic books are all about. And man, I pray Superman keeps being fun under the Bendis rule, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. The 4-star books are legitimately good, and I am happy to recommend them to you. The Brave and the Bold #4, starring Batman and Wonder Woman, continues to be the greatest Celtic mythology lesson that you're ever going to get in comic books. Well, maybe. But anyway, it really is that. They have a story. They go from one castle to the other. In this case, someone died. They're going to talk to the queen. And then you get a Celtic mythology lesson. It's good. It's a really good story. It's a good book. I don't think it's going to exactly go down in the pantheon of classics, but for those of us who are reading, we're getting a very well-written, well-drawn story. Mira, Queen of Atlantis, number 4. I've heard a lot of people say this is an average book, and I got to admit, sometimes it has dipped. But I just realized the entire saga, the whole Aquaman losing the throne thing and her story, it is Game of Thrones. This is the politics side, and the action is all in the Aquaman. Now, there's action in here, but really this is all about the political intrigue and her trying to gain allies in the war that they're fighting for the freedom of Atlantis. Really good book, actually, in the end. A Walk Through Hell, number 1 by, Grant Morrison. And let me tell you something. It starts off with a shooting, a mass shooting in a mall. And it goes right on into what Twitter would be like after a mass shooting in a mall. And then we meet the FBI agents who are then sent to a warehouse where 2 FBI agents went missing. And it's all about whatever happened to the FBI agents that are missing. Now, there's a touch of, I don't even know if that should belong in there. But overall, just the mystery of what they're going to look at is so intriguing. It makes this book good. Old Man Logan number 40 is part 2 of a story. You had Glob going out on a date, finding out that she was captured by the Purifiers. Purifiers strap a bomb onto him and send him back to the X-Mansion where it explodes. And they use that chaos to go in and attack the mutants. It's not bad. It's a pretty good book, as a matter of fact. I do like the character of Glob. However, I wasn't very much a fan of the fact that they just had him say the same sentence over and over again. It was like, okay, we get the point. We get how he feels. You know, either move on or expand on it. It's a good book, but slightly flawed. Elsewhere, number 7. Okay, so Elsewhere is another book that shows up every time, and every time I say the same thing, this is one of the best independent comic books out there. It's a lot of fun. You have Amelia Earhart and D.B. Cooper in a fantasy land, just trying to make it home. Actually, D.B. Cooper doesn't want to go home because he's kind of, doing the right kind of scams in this particular world. But Amelia Earhart does. It's just thoroughly entertaining, gang. It's an easy read as well. So, pick it up, try it. Maybe you'll like it as much as I do. Injustice 2, Chapter 59. Okay, guys, this is getting good. So, the Red Lanterns turn Starro, which now means when he sends out his little starfish, whoever he hits becomes rage-filled Red Lantern types. Yeah, so he got Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan's voice is kind of Guy Gardner, and Guy Gardner talks him into warning Oa. It's really cool. Not a lot of action, but it's all drama and all character. This book has just been getting better and better. The Hunt for Wolverine, Claws of a Killer. Have to admit, I've not been a big fan of the Hunt for Wolverine series so far, but this one got me. I like this one. And it's basically just 3 guys trash-talking Wolverine and how they want to kill him until the end, where it's like, holy crap, surprise, I want to see where this leads to, as you get zombies that cancel out the healing factors of the healing villains. So it's entertaining, to say the least. It's decent. It's probably the strongest of the Hunt for Wolverine books. Easily said. Infidel, number 3, is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a good book. Gotta say, it really is a little bit heavy-handed on the racism thing, but it's an even keel across the board. Kind of like Do the Right Thing right up until the very end. That's when I thought that movie kind of teetered off. This uses horror elements, actually. Like the demons come out when somebody's feeling particularly hateful towards somebody of a different race. It seems like that. And it just seems that way to me. I don't know if that's the direction they're going. All I do know is, I'm going to follow this to the end. Weapon X, number 18. I gotta say, I like this cover. This is a pretty cool cover, actually. Although Logan, I guess it's supposed to be Sabretooth, not Logan, kind of looks like a dwarf on the cover. You know, I don't think the proportions were right for it. But otherwise, the painting, the colors are pretty good. The book itself is fun. It's basically Sabretooth being dragged through the snow. There's other action scenes, but the character interaction between him and Omega Red is what really sells the book. Holy Toledo, what is this? Okay, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends #1. So I picked this up. I've read a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books, and they're always kind of a little bit PG. And in this one, you've got Raph's face being half burned off. It's just, holy crap. Donatella gets kidnapped and dropped out of a helicopter. They are serious. This is some serious storytelling. It made me wonder if this is like, okay, we're just going to tell stories and let it go. Either way, this book is good. Star Wars #48 proves that this franchise isn't dead. It just went to live in comic book form. And granted, this is about the original characters rather than the new Disney stuff this book is. But still, holy crap, it's so good. It's the stuff that happens between the movies, and in this case, they're on Monkal. Guys, you know it better than I do. And it's basically Akbar's people, and they're trying to get them to participate in the rebellion. It is so good. It really is. This issue is all about political intrigue, and it's just, it's a well-written book, guys. And that cover, are you kidding me? Holy crap, that's good. Seriously, if you like Star Wars and you miss the feeling of old Star Wars, here you go. The Marvel Star Wars books are actually pretty darn good. Damage #5. So, of all the New Age of heroes, Damage is just one that continues to be a revelation. I'm not saying every book is perfect, but it is always fun. And in this case, we see Poison Ivy take out Damage, and Damage took out Wonder Woman, and let's put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of weird to see, actually, but it's thoroughly entertaining. This book is fun. And I'll say it again, I've said it before, this book is the Hulk book we've been wanting to get back. And I think it's one that you should be picking up if you're not already. Infinity Countdown, Daredevil #1. I'm a fan of Turk. Always have been, ever since I first read Daredevil during the Frank Miller run. I just love the character. In this case, he's got the Power Stone. He can read minds, and he can project his thoughts. And it is just a ton of fun. This entire book is incredibly fun. I have not enjoyed Infinity anything that's been coming out. This book is entertaining. It's fun. It just proves once again, Daredevil, man. Daredevil is Marvel's MVP. A strong start to the Flash Wars, #47. This is good. I like it so far. I like the rogues, or the renegades as they are, because they're from the future. They come to take Iris West to the future because she murdered Eobard Thrawn. I get the name Eobard. I get that name wrong every time. It's one of those things like Thanos that I heard and said wrong forever and a day before I realized, oh shoot, I've been saying it wrong. Anyway, great art. Wally West comes off as a little irritating, but that's forgivable. Story is strong. Highly recommend The Flash Wars. Daredevil #602 has Matt Murdock really taking the reins of being mayor of New York, and he's trying to make it so people are forced to stay inside their house so they can deal with the Hand. It's really good. It's mostly talk, and most of the good talk is between Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson, where he's saying, look, you are mayor now. Mayor is more important than being Daredevil. There are other heroes, but there's only one mayor. You have to do it. And I thought he was being smart, of course, as you could see here. The Daredevil part kind of wins out. It's a really great story, and it's one of Marvel Comics' best. Hello. So, Batman 47. This got dark. And I kind of appreciate that. We need a couple of Batman stories that come up a little bit dark. And this is chapter 2 of The Gift with Booster Gold, how he stopped Bruce Wayne's parents from being killed to give him, of course, like the gift of a regular life, and it didn't turn out that way. It's twisted. It really is, and this cover has nothing to do with it, but it's interesting. Come on, it's Tom King Batman. It's easy to recommend, and it's kind of critic-proof, to tell you the truth. The 5-star books are excellent. They may not be Watchmen quality, but they are definitely the best of the bunch. Aquaman number 36, dudes. Come on, it's Aquaman. How many times have I been praising this book? How many times I said, check this out? This is a great book. It really is. And this one we have basically him trying to explain how he could take Grath down without killing him, while everybody around him is saying, you cannot think like that. Don't think like a hero. You have to think like a king and a soldier. And it's just a really good character story as well as an action-packed book. This is one of the best books on the shelf today, easily. Bloodshot Salvation. Holy Toledo, is this good. It is a good book, and I gotta say, as I said before, Valiant is possibly book for book the best company out there. Now, they might release an average issue or so, but overall, this is a great company. Anywho, this is about Bloodshot's dogs and what they dream of. And I guess they dream of their past, because this takes place in World War I. And it is on, man. This is a very well-told, well-drawn story. I cannot recommend high enough. Really good book, and definitely one you should pick up. Super Sons number 16 is just entertaining. It's enjoyable. This is about as well as you could end a series and be like Super Sons has to be. I mean, Thanos came out and had a smash ending. This did too, but it also had a hell of a lot of heart. It reminds us that we are losing a treasure when this book goes down. I hope the reboot is just as good. This we have them dealing with Kid Amazo. It is Robin at his most arrogant. It is John at his most fun. And together they just make the perfect team. This could be the perfect. And there you go, gang. One whole heaping amount of comic book reviews. It was fun to read, fun to review. I love doing this. So let's go over the scores. The independent comics was it 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, 13, 14, 20, 22, 25, 27, and 35 with a score of 179. Marvel Comics was at positions 3, 5, 6, 8, 11, 12, 21, 24, 26, 28, 30, and 32 with a score of 206. And DC Comics is the winner this week at positions 10, 16, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 33, 34, 36, 18, and 15 with a score of 281. But that's just my opinions. Tons of them. And I still got a week to go to catch up. Oh, goodness, a lot of comic book reading. Anyway, what did you think? Was there some that I graded too high, maybe? Some that I graded too low? Let me know in the comments below. Even if you agree, why not? Put them down. Let's hear your thoughts. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, you know the drill. Click like. Sharing gets word out about the channel, and dang, that's important, man. That's seriously important for any channel. Also, if you haven't done it already, click subscribe and notifications so you don't miss anything. Cool things happen around these parts. We're going to start doing Thunderdome up again. Don't want to miss that. That's every Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Also, this is the way we're trying to make a living. I would love to make better videos for you with better software, and we're trying to get another computer. So if you don't mind helping the channel out, go on over to Patreon. Drop $1 in the till. Just $1, less than a candy bar a month. Help out the channel. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.